We are back now, and we're just going to do a little bit of streaming again. We're going to try and do some explanation of the different crafting groups. So, some of the things that people have been having issues with are concrete and how concrete works. They definitely know how to utilize some of the concrete menu, but not all of the concrete menu. So let's go ahead here and have a look at concrete. So first, let's just go into the concrete menu. So most people understand how the floors work. You've got our basic floor. You've got our see-through floor. You've got our concrete foundations. Our floor upper. These are kind of nice if you want to build a roof and a second floor. I'll explain more of that later. You've got our curves. I'll explain where those work. Our floor smalls and our floor angles. People do have issues with our angles, and we will get into that more in a bit. One of the big issues that people have with foundations comes in with getting a foundation to snap at a higher level. So one of the ways that we're going to do that is we're going to start out with our basic foundation. We're going to put it right here. Now, let's say I wanted to put a foundation right on top. There are some times where it won't let you do this, or you want it to snap right on top, and you can only get a free place. There's actually a very easy way to do this. If you come over to the Wood tab, you come to Stairs. Actually, that would be under Floors. My apologies. Come to Floors, and come to the shack stairwell. And you'll see that this shack stairwell snaps very nicely to any of the sides. So let's just snap it here to this side. Now, once this is snapped, you'll see that we're going to be able to go back to any of the foundations, whether it be our concrete foundation, our wooden foundation, any of the foundations. And now this will snap to any of the sides of that stairwell, including directly on top. And now that that shack has allowed us to do that, we can now snap any of these directly on top to that. And in this way, you can have one concrete foundation on the bottom and build up from there. And continue to build directly up for larger and larger and larger foundations. The next thing we're going to talk about that a lot of people find very difficult is combining walls. So let's start out here by taking one of these long angled walls. People really don't understand how they work. Angled walls can be used in a couple of different ways. You'll see that if you take an angled wall and try and attach another angled wall to it, there are two ways to do so. An angled wall connected to an angled wall that's flipped around 180 degrees makes a straight wall. Now you'll see that it is a little offset. However, you can take that same angled wall, again flip it around 180 degrees, and that will come on this side, and you will now have three wall sections. Again, they stagger, so this is on the left side, that one will be on the right side, this one will be on the left side, and you can now have a very, very, very long wall that's going to end up being very straight. Your other option, of course, is to have it be flipped this way. And then you're going to have, my apologies, then you're going to have them snap at 90-degree angles. So what you have here is a 45-degree angle, which is what these are, and a 45-degree angle, which makes your 90-degree angle. And depending on which way the walls are facing will give you your 45-degree angle. So you definitely can use these to build larger structures, including squares. You can also, however, stick these off to make 120-degree angles, or make 75-degree angles on the inside, depending on which way you're going. And it's very interesting to do it in this manner. However, we're actually going to be trying to build another type of structure. So one of the easiest ways to do this is to actually take these type of concrete walls. Now these walls will only snap to one side. So as you can see on this side, they'll either snap directly flat to the flat side, and as you can see, if I come to this side, you'll see it only goes to a certain area, or it'll snap to one of the edges. And it won't snap to this side, so I'm going to have to turn this completely around. Let's move this back. And now it's going to snap to this edge. There we go. And once again, we can do the same here. Snap it to this edge. So now, as you can see, we've got a long flat side, a straight side, and a straight side. You can continue to make this straight side as long as you'd like, and this straight side as long as you'd like. However, I'm going to make this fairly small. Next, I'm going to take one of these round pieces, and another round piece over here. Turn these into the corners. Then I'm going to go back and duplicate what I've done. This is going to give us another short wall and another short wall. And then that leaves us with exactly the same type of wall piece that we have here. Now again, under these type of long wall pieces, we actually have a door. And you'll see that it doesn't want to snap, so all we have to do to make it snap is to flip it around. And it will snap on the inside. Now on this one, it's snapped on the outside. So, in that case, we'll just come to the outside here. And there we go. It's now completely flipped around. Now obviously, if you want to build a basement on this, so that you have nice floors, you definitely can do that. Or you can just simply go into the floor section, and we can do as such. For the side pieces here, you see that the wonderful curved floors will fit inside. They'll also fit on the top, like so. And then we just will continue to do our building. So let's go over to a large floor section, like so, and a large floor section, like so. What you'll now notice is that for the back piece, that kind of looks like a triangle. So our triangular piece should fit here. You'll notice, however, that it does not, and that's because there's actually an order for snapping in triangular pieces. You also may find that it's very difficult to snap triangular pieces on the bottom at the beginning. In that case, you may have to select the entire structure, lift it up, and place it in a different location until such a time as you can fit it in. You may even have to get a concrete wall, snap in a pillar like so, pick up the entire structure, and place it on top of a concrete wall on one of the snap points. Maybe easier said than done, but that is a way to do so. In just moving it around there, I was able to do so. And here we go again. We just simply go back to our squares. And now, as you can see, the remaining spaces can be filled up with simple small floor pieces. And there we have the simple small floor pieces. I know I heard one snap to the outside over here. I did. Now, all we will have to do now is I would like to have a set of stairs. I'd like to have them going approximately here. Maybe over one. So that when you come in to this little bunker, you're going to be able to go over and go up the stairs to the second floor. Now that that's in place, we can go back over, fill in this area. Again, let's go over, and because this is going to be a second floor and it's going to be a bunker, we're going to want to be able to see down into the lower floor. Now again, you can see that this really does not give us the option to fill in the floor completely. So we'll go back over to our triangular option, which then gives us the option to go back over to the small floors and fill in the remaining space. And in that way, this floor is now completed. Then all we simply have to do is again go over and choose whatever walls we want for the second floor, like so. Let's go ahead and choose this nice long back wall here. And let's choose this nice long front wall. We'll go ahead and get ourselves another grated window and get ourselves the round pieces to finish this off. All right. And there we go. Now for the roof, what you're going to find is that you only have two options for roofs. So your best option here is to actually continue on with the floors for this type of building. Now again, you can do an outsided walkway for these types of buildings. What you will notice with an outsided walkway is because these types of buildings do have the rounded portions and the long portions, you will end up having areas where they don't quite meet and don't quite fit, so you may need to have a walkway that doesn't go completely around the building. However, this type of building will make it quite easy for you to have something a little different than other people that may be broadcasting, and lead to some interesting discussions on your streams. Again, for providing power, you can obviously come in through a window, or you can use a power broadcast tower on top, or go ahead and use a pass-through. That would be a very simple but effective bunker. And you can just go ahead and place something like this over by the entrance, like this, to your settlement, and then they can defend through these windows to the entrance. Another one that people seem to have problems with, and I'm going to go on now to another building type that people seem to have issues with, People seem to have issues with the warehouse tab, specifically when it comes to building warehouses that have a roof. Now this applies to barns as well, so it doesn't really matter if you're going to do a warehouse or a barn. It will apply to either or. So I'm just going to go under a warehouse here. We're going to start with a simple warehouse foundation. For this little tutorial, we're going to build 4 by 4. However, we are actually going to have it only go 3 in that location. And the reason that we're going to do this is because people seem to have issues with roofs that aren't even. And I'm going to show you how to fix that. When you have intersecting roofs or roofs with non-even corners and getting them to snap correctly. So first and foremost, let's get some walls up here. Doesn't really matter what we want to do. So here we go. We've got ourselves our corner. All right. I'll make the entrance right here in the middle. And there's our entrance. Now, just for fun, we're going to make this a 2-story. Now you'll notice, of course, that the amount of materials that I have here is ridiculous. Don't worry about that. I'm doing these streams primarily right now to help other people out. So I've got a few extra materials placed in here just so that we can make this easier on everyone involved. When I do decide to do some survival aspects, we'll lower those down. So to make it a little easier on myself here, I'm just going to place a floor so that I can get up here for the first point. Now, roofs, there are 2 main issues that I have, that I hear when people are doing roofs. Number 1, people have issues understanding how to use beams, such as these rafters. They don't understand what they're for, they don't understand how to use them, and they don't understand the principles of connecting them. Number 2, they don't understand how to do corners. So the very first thing we're going to do is corners. So on any outside corner that is a simple square, these roof pieces will allow you to connect. They're a very simple corner roof piece, like so. And any corner that you see that has a very simple right angle, 90 degrees, you are going to be able to use this to give yourself that corner. Just to make it easy for myself, I'm going to build this floor all the way around. All right, that's good enough for now. So you'll see here, this makes it very, very easy to do those corners. We'll just pop that guy right there. Where people have the issue is right here on an interior corner where you're actually going to have 270 degrees. As you can see here, the inside corner there. This is where you run into issues. Normally what you're going to have with a 270 degree angle is a downward peak. There is not, under these roofs, a downward peak, excepting on something that looks like this, where you have a roof that already has a downward peak. These can be useful. However, as you can see from this one here, it doesn't go all the way down. If we were to attempt to put this here, it wouldn't snap properly even if we had something extra. even if you look at these, they're not meant for that type of roof. They're meant for certain types of roofs, but not that type of roof. So how do we go about fixing this? Well, first let's discuss rafters. So as you can see at the beginning, these are our outside pieces. This is a basic outside piece roof. However, we do also have a rafter piece. Now this type of rafter roof will allow us to connect another rafter to it. Now if we want to go ahead and go up to a higher roof again, we can go ahead and connect this type of roof to the top once we've established a higher peak. And then that way that allows us to connect these types of rafters to it. This type of rafter requires that the second roof above be continuing to go up on an angle. If, however, we want just a flat roof across, we don't use that. Instead, we come here to the flat roof section, and you'll see that these flat roofs already have rafters attached. So all we go ahead and do is connect that, bring that here across, and then just simply go back to this on the other side. This now has the rafters all the way across. Whether you choose to use the rafters or not doesn't matter. Structurally, it's all the same. I'm just going to go ahead and quickly add a piece of roof here so that I can walk along, as it's far easier to be up on the roof to show you the next piece. All right, get this little guy up. And this one. Go ahead. Well, I've fallen. Thankfully, I can still get up. I know, very old commercial. All right. Now, from here, we're still going to want to have a roof all the way across. So we'll go to our flat roof. But here, what we're going to want to have is we're going to want to have the roof slope down. So again, we'll go over to our sloping roof like this and go ahead and attach that. So just like a normal roof, you'll see that this now slopes down. But this leaves us with a problem, because we now have a gap in our roof that anything can get through. This can be solved in the Walls tab. As you can see, we've got a couple of different walls to work with. We've got these type of walls, and we've got these type of walls. Now, unfortunately, even though you would think this would snap here, sometimes it doesn't. And even though you would think these type of walls would snap here, sometimes they don't. So the trick is to use what will snap depending on the circumstances. So this type of wall, for some reason, is not wanting to snap here. However, this type of wall did want to snap. So that's great. We'll use this type of wall first to fill in this gap first. And since this type of wall did not want to snap, we're going to have to look for an alternate solution. So what alternate solution could we possibly use? Well, thankfully, there is another wall that we do have access to that will work. And that's this wall. Now, it may look a little bit funny, but it will work. Now, again, you can try and play with these and try and get it to fit in beforehand, and sometimes that will actually work. Oftentimes, you can get this to snap on the inside. As you saw, it just did, but it was facing the wrong direction. And in that case, when you snap it, sometimes you can get it to snap the other way. Sometimes that doesn't work. However, these usually will work almost 100% of the time. then you just have to get them facing the right direction and they snap, as you can see. The only issue when you do those walls, obviously, is if you're wanting to use the upper space, you will see that the wall comes down at an angle. Usually that's not too big of a deal, as you would see that type of support anyway going up into a roof. And that would be how you would fill in that type of a gap. I hope that's been helpful. That's your concrete structures tab and your warehouse structures tab for today. Thank you so much, and I'll be streaming again later. Bye for now.